Welcome to the Sunny Apocalypse podcast. You
you.
are our first ever, maybe only guest on the podcast. May I ask, who are you?
I am Latavia Sturdevant, and I am Miss Wheelchair New York State 2025. Year they have a competition in Troy, New York, and so I just filled out the application and I applied for it. And our competition was March 8th. I've heard about this years ago through the Ability Expo, and it's actually an expo where the ably different community can come together and see all the new technology that can help us be independent and things out there that we need. So I go there every year as a family tradition. And so, as someone who won Miss Wheelchair America would say, you need to apply for the competition. You would be a shoe-in for New York. You would win. This was my year, and I decided to do the competition. And I am so proud to be representing New York. So.
I love it. And so you're obviously special. You've got a crown, you've got a sash, you're on this podcast. So, and you have your own podcast. So tell me what defines you and how, like your story, how you came to be Ms. Wheelchair in New York.
Okay, so I'm born and raised in the Bronx, New York. Born and raised Bronx girl. I now live in Yonkers, New York, but still, true and blue New Yorker is inside of me. So I have cerebral palsy, spastic quadriplegia, and that is considered the most severe form because it affects my head, neck, and shoulders. I ambulate by wheelchair. So because of that, I had like a little bit of a tough journey. Was always smart, but people who don't really understand people who are ably different or don't know how to work with them. I was always educated in general education because through early intervention, which is an extremely supportive service, I was able to get physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech. And so my mom, who's my biggest supporter, was like, she's good to go. If I see she can't do if she can't do general education, then I'll make sure that she goes into um special ed. But I was able to hack it. So
Of
I
course.
read the first Harry Potter book at 5. Um, was always top of my class, but it was always difficult because being under the umbrella of special education, you need supportive services. So I needed a scribe, I needed a para to help me with my bathroom needs and just getting around. And so the people that would work with me always felt like it was too much. It was too much of a burden. I even had one parent tell me, I'm going to write my name on your paper since I have to write for you, even though I would dictate what I want to say, because she was just like, oh, since I'm doing it, I'm going to write my name down. So I
Hmm.
stayed in general education until middle school. And then my mom was like, listen, you're killing my daughter's spirit for learning. She loves school. You're violating her civil rights. I want you to move her to Henry Viscardi School. So the Henry Viscardi School is out in Long Island in Albertson, and they are basically a school that takes in ably different individuals, but we are educated under general education as well. So we get the regular curriculum. You graduate with Regents diplomas, advanced Regents diplomas. But it was great to be there because I have a whole community and we were able to go out and about and do different things. I don't think if I stayed in general education, I would have gotten a prom, I would have gotten a senior trip because that's just not something they were able to provide in general education. They would always say, we don't have a bus for you. So my mom would say, like, fine, since you're not able to go to Ride Playland, I'm taking you to Six Flags.
Your mom's
So
awesome.
to be able to have those full authentic experiences. So I graduated valedictorian of my class, went on to Lehman College to do speech language pathology because I wanted to give back to the ably different community in some way, and this was my contribution. I wanted to be able to show people, like, look, even though you may have these challenges, there's still something so special about you that you'll be able to contribute to the community. So that was my profession, my niche, and I absolutely love it. I graduated from Lehman College, went on to Columbia University, and I got my master's in 2016 in speech therapy. And the rest is history. I've been practicing ever since 9 years. And it's been a full circle moment because now I'm actually back at Lehman College teaching as an adjunct professor. So I get to now teach graduate students. And it's just
Wow.
awesome. I love my job. I love when my students tell me, like, I've never had a speech therapist in a wheelchair before, but now I know if you could do it, I can do it. So I love inspiring the next generation. And I just love being able to give my graduate students lens into both sides because I had speech therapy and now I'm teaching it. I kind of know both sides of the table. And so allowing them to grow into the clinicians they want to be, but also reminding them to be empathetic and keep an open mind. I think that's extremely important that you need to provide into the profession. So I'm just grateful that I'm able to do all of that.
That's amazing. I love that you give back. You've your journey is very inspiring. And I hear you might be competing for Ms. Wheelchair USA or America
Miss
or something.
Wheelchair America. Yes, so I am competing for it. So the funny thing is I was doing advocacy work beforehand. So once you win the state title, you go on to Miss Wheelchair America. And Miss Wheelchair America is all about highlighting empowering women in wheelchairs that do advocacy. So I love it because it's giving us a chance to bring our platforms and our voice and actually saying you need to give these women a seat at the table to make change because we really as the ably different community need to move more towards an inclusive future. We're getting there, at least in New York, but we have a lot more work to do. Inclusion is more than just a word we say. We actually have to put action behind it. And so I'm so grateful and honored to be competing, but also competing with other lovely ladies that want to bring their platforms to the forefront and make a change in this beautiful nation we have. So
That's
I'm just
amazing.
extremely honored.
And before I ask you the big what's your problem question, when is the competition?
The competition is August 18th all the way to the 24th.
Wow.
So, yeah, we have a whole week of events and nights planned. I'm just excited to meet everyone and excited to do something new. I love trying out new experiences. So, I'm excited for the competition. You can actually stream our speech night, which is happening on Friday night, and our crowning night. So I will definitely put out the link for your listeners to have it and for
Yes.
you to have it so you can watch. And we also have a People's Choice Award. So if the person wins the People's Choice Award, then that helps the winner go around to nationals, but then you also bring in money for your state for the state competition. So
That's
hopefully,
incredible.
fingers crossed, I get to win that as well. We'll see.
Yeah, and it would, we talked just before we started recording. You got a big old problem in New York City. So what is your problem?
It is extremely systemic. So, right now, our durable medical equipment providers are closing their doors, and that is because Medicaid managed cares are not reimbursing at 100%. They're only reimbursing at 30 to 40% of a 1987 rate. So initially,
1987.
1987. Yes, you
I
heard me right.
remember 1987. Candy bars were like 35 cents. I'm old.
Exactly. It is not keeping up with inflation at
No,
all. It is
no,
definitely not. So
no.
places, independent providers are closing down. And so we've seen it happen with our wheelchair companies. We used to have a lot of independent provider wheelchair companies. Now it's only two nationalized companies in the whole New York state, which you can only imagine means that it takes longer wait times for repairs for equipment. Sometimes it takes 3 to 4 months. Sometimes it takes a year. It just depends. And so that leaves a lot of ably different individuals, such as myself, being able to not go out into the community
Yeah.
and be a part of the community like we want to be. We want to be productive citizens. Some of my friends are mothers, fathers, and they have to wait such a long time to get their equipment that they can't provide for their child. So it's
Oh,
extremely important. But not only that, we're now seeing the same thing happen to our brace and prosthetic industry, where those independent providers are closing down because they have a 19% attrition rate in providers in the state. And that's because they're also not receiving that reimbursement because durable medical equipment encompasses them as well. So durable medical equipment is the wheelchairs, the braces, the breast pumps, the hospital beds. And so we're losing all of those places.
wow.
I remember when I was going up to JK Prosthetics and Orthotics out here in Mount Vernon, and they've been making my braces since I was 18 months old. Without my braces, I cannot stand and walk because if I don't have them on, my feet get spasms. Remember, I said my whole body is spastic. So if I don't wear them, my feet get spasms and it's incredibly painful, or I can get contractures and not be able to move around. So once he told me he was closing, I was like, okay, enough is enough. I'm losing all of my places that I grew up with, and I need to know why. So he was like, there's this Medicaid parity bill in the state legislature, and they haven't passed it in like 4 years. So I was like, okay, great. I want to use my platform, Queens on a Roll, to like educate people on this
Your
issue. So I brought
podcast.
him my podcast,
Queens, Queens on a roll?
Queens on a Roll.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, good. So I started going up to Albany. I organized 2 statewide rallies and got a group of us together to tell our legislators, like, enough is enough. You need to pass this bill. We're out here struggling. And the first time we did it, it only passed the assembly, which was a great feat because they weren't even passing it at all. So I was
Yeah.
so happy with the small achievement. But this year, it finally passed both houses, so the assembly and the Senate. And so now we're just waiting for the governor to sign it. So
Good.
Governor Hochul, if you're listening to this, please sign that bill. We need it ASAP,
Yes.
immediately. Hurry up. Um, so I'm excited. I'm excited about that just to be able to move the needle forward and to be able to change things for not just myself but for a lot of people. So I'm hoping that she signs it. It needs to be signed. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
Wait, how long has it been sitting on her desk?
It's been sitting on her desk since June of this year.
What?
So yeah, so we're waiting. She has
Mm,
up until December, so I'm not gonna come down on her yet. She has until
okay.
December to sign it. I'm gonna give her some time. Maybe she's busy.
You've fundraised folks or fundraised to get like tons of people over for the Greyhound.
Yeah, so um it was not easy, but to get the ably different community up there, because what I was hearing from legislators a lot of the time is you rally one time and then you go away, meaning they never seen the persistency behind needing it. And so it's not something that was really needed, right? And so I was like, no, it's just very difficult for us to travel all the way to
Yeah.
Albany. Like some of us are not able to do it unless you give us the means to. So I was like, you know what? I want to shatter this misconception once again. And so I was like, how can we get a bunch of ably different people up to Albany so that they understand, like, no, this is an issue that we're all suffering with, and we need you to pay attention, not just dismiss us and push us to the side. Because I feel like that's often what happens, is because they like to say we're such a small group of people, they kind of just dismiss it, and we're the first one to receive cuts because they don't need it, or to be honest it's just that they don't understand how vital it is, right? I always
Yeah.
say if you're not living it you can't quite get a good grasp on it. And so I was glad that I was able to fundraise. When we fundraised, we raised $10,000 the first time, but the fundraising organization takes half, so we ended up with 5,000. But it was still enough to
That's
get 2
incredible.
buses. Yeah, it was still enough to get 2 buses of us up there, and we were able to share our stories, and that was super impactful because now the legislators was like, "Oh, this really is a huge issue." Right? And so, yeah, we need to pay attention to it and we need to give some attention to it. So I was just glad that I was able to give a voice to people that are often not silent, but
Yeah.
like because you don't get to see us, you don't get to hear it. So I was grateful that I was able to give them a voice and be able to say like, no, we're here. We're not going anywhere. Since you want to see persistency, this is what persistency looks like. And so now it's nice to have it pay off in the long
Yeah.
run.
Most definitely. And anything about, on a more federal level,
Yeah.
is there anything in the one big beautiful bill that's gonna harm y'all?
Oh my goodness. So you might as well call that big, beautiful bill a big, beautiful disaster for the ably different community, because it's slashing Medicaid. So here we'll lose
Mm,
a lot of our hospitals, which we already have a crisis, as I mentioned
yes.
before. So losing that Medicaid funding means that we will lose a lot of our hospitals, which means that when we need to go to the doctors to get something done, it's going to be even more difficult. We now have to, like I said, if my prosthetic place closed, I have to travel to Long Island. Traveling is not easy. Not
No.
all not all trains are accessible here, only some of them. And then it's the Big Apple, it's a big city. So it's not easy to get around. And so that is going to be devastating to us as a community. But the fact that they even want to do this $35 copay, a lot of us are not employed. And so to have to come out of our pockets and take it out of our check, which we're already not getting enough, is insane to me.
Mm.
Other aspect that people don't even realize is these tariffs. If you think Medicaid didn't want to pay for our equipment now, they're definitely not gonna want to pay for it because custom made wheelchairs and for people ably different individuals who have complex needs, we need custom equipment. So it needs to be molded to us. It needs to be our measurements. And
Uh,
so all of that stuff is made out of steel and parts. So if you think Medicaid didn't want to pay for the equipment now, how much do you think they're gonna want to pay for it now? That's something that people don't even realize. So
wow.
that one big beautiful bill harms us, but it's also the tariffs that are harming us as well. Um, and then let's not forget he's rolled back DEI efforts, and so
Oh,
DEI is all about inclusion. So
yep.
then once you roll that back, we're left out of the conversation. And so I'm afraid that we're going to go back to being marginalized and not being seen. And I think the biggest thing for me in this administration is the attitudinal barriers. His health secretary has come out and said things that people with autism, they don't live full lives. That is totally not true.
It's
Um,
BS.
yeah, it's not true. And so I think we have some societal misconceptions going on in the White House about our community that's also impacting some of the things, the legislative things he wants to put down. So
Yeah.
um, we're in for a bumpy ride, but that doesn't mean we can't overcome the ride. We just need to speak up and speak out, and we are. We've been up there in Washington rallying. I've been participating in some rallies. So as long as we keep the pressure on, we will not be going back.
Amazing. And your federal representative, who would that be in the House?
In the House is George Latimer, for me, and then in the Senate it's
Yeah.
Kristen Gillibrand and Chuck Schumer.
Ah, great.
I think we'll be able to hold on. My biggest fear is us going backwards.
Oh my
There's
God,
people
right?
before us that have done the work to get us here. And so definitely for me in New York, we've, had the crisis where Willowbrook, we were institutionalized, and then they had to fight to make sure that we were in the community. So with the current administration's rhetoric, that's what the community is most fearful about, is going back to those days where we're institutionalized. And I, for one, want to stay a productive citizen. And I know
Ye-
that all of us do. So I
Yes,
would like to stay out of my community.
I love that. And you deserve to be in your community, and your just community should be so thankful to have you as well.
Really different community. And I think one of our biggest barriers, at least from my perspective in New York, is that people are making decisions but not having us sit at the table. Like I
Yes.
said previously, if you don't know what it's like and you're not living in my shoes or at least walking in them to see what it's like, you have no clue. So
Yep.
how about you invite people to the table to say, hey, what's going on? What do you need? Right? That doesn't happen. There's a bunch of
No.
people who are able-bodied making decisions on our behalf, and like, oh, this is a great idea. Well, did you consult anyone who's ably different to say like, okay, I love the idea, but here's how we need to tweak it for my community. You're not
Yep.
doing that. And so
No.
I say all the time, the disabled community is a community that we can belong to at any point in time in our lives. And so we need to be cognizant of that fact and stop leaving us out of the conversation and bring us into the conversation.
I love that. I love that so much. You are, like I said, super inspiring.
Thank
Uh,
you.
I I feel so lucky to have had this conversation with you. So, and before we go, is there anything you want to add that we didn't talk about?
No, I would just say, keep rooting for me in
Heck
the Miss
yeah.
Wheelchair America
Yeah.
competition. I want to bring it home. No one has ever won in New York, so as Miss Wheelchair America, so I want to be the one to finally bring it home. And just know that the ably different community is out and about. We are here. We're not going anywhere. But it's time to really listen to us and not just dismiss us and push us to the side. It's time for us. We've been speaking out, we've been standing up, but it's time for you guys to now listen and truly listen. Not just listen and say, I understand, but actually put that into action and really move us forward towards a more inclusive future. In my opinion, it's now time to update the 88 because for me, they provide the bare minimum requirements. So let us have a seat at the table.
I
We're
love that.
here, we're knocking. Just give us a seat at the table and
Yeah.
make us a part of something.
Have you ever thought about going into politics yourself?
I can definitely see it in my future. I definitely want to create something that is for us, by us, not just my podcast, but maybe doing some more lobbying work on my
Yeah.
end. So we'll see. I'm not ruling it out. I never rule out anything. So
No.
you might see me come back on here and like announce my candidacy.
I
Who
love
knows?
it. Yeah, I don't have anything else to ask you. This has just been eye-opening, really eye-opening, because you start thinking it's like, oh my God, it's like just one thing after another. And
Yeah,
and and it's not okay, and we can't go backwards.
no.
And Governor, I can't pronounce her name. Uh
Hoku.
Yeah, that's it. Awesome. You're on Queens on the Roll. I see that you're available everywhere, right?
Yes, I'll
Yeah,
send you the link and the link
perfect.
to the People's Choice and the link so you and your
Amazing.
viewers can watch and root
We'll
for
do that.
me.
We'll all root for you. And then you're going to be Miss Wheelchair, no pressure, USA, America. And we're going to see you do great things. And
Oh,
I
thank
can't
you so much.
I can't wait to watch. It's so much fun to watch people blossom and do amazing things.
Thank
It
you again
was
for having me on.
so nice to meet you too. You have a great weekend and good luck with the competition.
Thank you, you
Bye,
too.
darling.
Bye bye.